What is up, Soul Fam? It's Sundar from Substance Over Style, and welcome to a new video. Okay, so I am a little bit fired up today, hearing the news of Ghislaine Maxwell's arrest. I'm very, very pleased. I really hope that she doesn't get suicided. For those of you who don't know, Ghislaine Maxwell was the girlfriend of Jeffrey Epstein, and she would help to procure young girls for him to prey upon. Now, the way that the media is spinning this, I feel like they're not really telling people the full truth of what's been going on, which is basically that these two they don't operate in isolation. They are part of a global network that's been trafficking not just young women but children to a satanic elite to participate in satanic ritual abuse. So those of you who don't know about this stuff, please go and do your research, get up to speed. Don't be the last ones to know. 2020 vision, truth is coming to light. I've been waiting for this for a long time. A lot of other people I know, truth speakers and truth seekers and light workers, have been waiting for this for a long time. Those of you who've been following me for a long time know that I had my first Kundalini awakening in 2012. I already knew that there was something very, very wrong with the world. I'd been involved with, truth-seeking activist groups, since, well, probably even earlier than 2007. 2007, I was campaigning for 9/11 Truth. Before that, I was involved in animal rights. There's been something really, really wrong with this matrix reality that we are experiencing for a really, really long time. So this is nothing new. And I've been seeing a lot of people, I've been trying to stay away from all the keyboard wars because I've been working on my own life. And that's one of the things that you got to do now if you want to join us in 5D reality. Focus on what's important, which is up-leveling your own life so that you can be a beacon of light to shine for other people, okay? We all got to help ourselves and help each other. And that's how we help each other, by helping ourselves, and vice versa. But I have seen a lot of people, getting into keyboard wars, talking about different things, various conspiracies and things like that. But some people do not seem to be able to see the links on how this satanic elite will basically drip feed down their sick practices into, the culture, because they control, I'm not saying they necessarily control everybody and nobody has any free will, but they understand how human psychology works better than the average person, because they understand the occult sciences that have been hidden from humanity for such a long time that most people don't even want to look at because they're scared, or they think that there's something bad or evil or wrong about studying universal laws. And I can tell you that there isn't. That's a lie that was told to you and your ancestors to stop you from being able to discern the truth. Yeah? So So 2020 vision, third eye open. Those that have eyes to see will be able to discern truth from falsehood. Okay, we've been controlled for a really, really long time. Now, why is all this coming to light now? Nothing that happens in this universe happens without the collective consent of the people. Now, those of you who've been following Me Too and all the various social justice movements that have been happening for the last few years know that consent can be manufactured. How can consent be manufactured? Through emotional manipulation, by understanding the human psyche in a way that other people don't. This is why people say that abusers, emotional abusers, have power over their victims, because they understand the human psyche. And when a person is traumatized, they give their power away. This is where I talked about the virus in the crown. The real coronavirus is a virus in our crown chakras that causes us to give our sovereignty away to others. That makes us easily victimized by abusers, by narcissists, by governments, by the media, who are just the propaganda arm of different governments, and by the deep state. So people are realizing that it's us, it's the people that have collectively held this together by continuing to give our power away to these people. To, we trust the media to tell us the truth. Now we're starting to realize that they don't do that, because the media are owned. We trust the government to protect us. Now we're starting to realize that they don't protect us, they protect their own interests, just like anybody else would do if you're living in a state of fear, which is what we have been in 3D. It's ruled by fear. We're literally coming out of the dark ages, the Kali Yuga, which is ruled by fear. We're not operating at the love frequency. We're not operating in a state of abundance, because we've been lied to by a system of debt slavery. Like, y'all need to do your research. Like, if you haven't been, if you've literally just woken up and you're confused and you don't know what's going on, start doing your research. Like, start reading, pick up a book. Like, people have asked me to recommend books where they can study this stuff, but it's very difficult for me to, distill. I've been researching this for like at least 15 years, so it's very, very difficult for me to distill all the knowledge that I've acquired over 15 years through books, through articles, through meditation, through talking to people, going to events, and talking to other truth seekers and light workers and people who are, have sources that are, actual people that are implanted in various different industries, in the military, in the police, who are informing and giving information. This is not stuff that you're going to hear about on the mainstream media. Like, if you want mainstream media sources to prove to you that, this stuff is really happening, you're going to be waiting a really long time, and you will be the last to know. Like, start seeing what's going on, because we have to be the change. And when you start realizing what's going on and how we have been complicit, then we start to change the story. Okay, so with Ghislaine Maxwell, Ghislaine Maxwell, a procurer for Jeffrey Epstein, not just Jeffrey Epstein, but the satanic elite, helping to recruit young girls. This stuff goes much deeper than this, okay? It's not just these teenage girls. It's, look at what's been going on while everybody was distracted with not just coronavirus, but all the Black Lives Matter protests that were happening, which, by the way, were a ritual used to harvest people's energy into the black cube, which is the inorganic matrix that we're all plugged into, that rules people through fear and stops them from being tapped into the organic, the real abundance of Mother Earth. While we've been distracted, what was going on? Hillary Clinton is going to have to appear before a court before the end of the year to answer for why she deleted 600,000, or was it 300,000 emails of her mail servers. And if you go and look at the WikiLeaks dumps on her emails, they're very questionable, containing a lot of strange references to pizzas and ice cream, and asking Obama to not spend so much money on hot dogs and sending them to the White House. And I thought we agreed that we would, do this at a secret location, it's very strange stuff. And more people are going to start speaking about it. You're going to start seeing more people in the mainstream media even speaking about it. And yes, a lot of people are scared. But when you realize that we are multidimensional beings, we are literally God experiencing ourselves through these physical vessels, you won't be fearful anymore. Like that, they're trying to keep us in a state of fear by normalizing this stuff. And yes, they have been normalizing this stuff. Like, I was just, you know, looking at somebody's little keyboard war that they were getting involved in, where they, you know, he was saying that, you know, the satanic elite are trying to normalize paedophilia by lobbing onto the LGBT movement. And I have nothing against the LGBT movement. I consider it myself an ally. I have lots of LGBT friends, so I'm not saying that they're involved in this at all. But I have seen attempts for, you know, paedophiles and paedophile organisations to try and lob on to the LGBT movement by saying that paedophilia is a natural sexual orientation, which it just isn't. It's a result of trauma. TED, you know, somebody did a TED talk. There were two different TED or TEDx talks where they were talking about how it's a natural sexual orientation, and it just isn't, and we need to speak up against this. And people were denying. They were just like, no, it's not being normalized, it's illegal. And it's just like, well, it might be illegal, but the perpetrators are not being held to account, are they? Like, why is it still going on? Like, why are there still... Human trafficking is one of the top 3 biggest industries in the world. So if it wasn't being normalized, all the perpetrators would be held to account. But, you know, we've got people in the justice system, in the police system, in government, very powerful people who are all in on it, who have a vested interest in kind of keeping this on the down low and silencing any whistleblowers or anybody who comes out and speaks against it. It's not just Prince Andrew. Like, go and look this up, people. There was a European common law court that has a warrant out for the arrest of 2 other members of the royal family for the disappearance of 10 Indigenous children from Canada. Look up the story of William Combs, okay? Don't be the last to know about this stuff, okay? Yeah, like, it's like a house of cards all waiting to come down. This is the changing of the guard. You know, those that were first will be last. And they're running scared shitless. Why? Why are they running scared shitless? 5G. What's the 5G? It's a frequency. It's a frequency that's going to bring back the ancient ones. Who are the ancient ones? It's you and me in human form, okay? We're activating the crystalline within the temple of our own bodies. As we start to decalcify our pineal glands, we start to see the truth, and we start to call for justice for those that have been doing wrong, those that have been keeping us fighting amongst ourselves, those that have been spreading lies and disinformation for a very, very long time, those that have been calling for the colonization of sovereign nations, those that have been imposing illegal sanctions upon sovereign nations, those that have been enacting illegal wars of aggression against sovereign nations. It's time that we called this shit out. Who is going to govern the government? Who is going to police the police? If you just sit back and let them do it, then you're giving your power away. You're giving your crown away. That's the real coronavirus, the virus in the crown. Where's your crown, kings and queens? Are you really going to let them run this shit? Or are you going to stand up and say, I do not consent to this? Because the time is now. Like, we can't let them keep getting away with this. Okay. Not just that, but I just shared a video, and y'all can do this and check this, of somebody who went to a government website, can't remember the name of it, but I will post a link, where you can see all the sealed indictments and any like court documents that are being filed. And there is a court case, and it basically runs like a who's who of, you know, members of the US Congress, very famous politicians whose names I'm not going to mention in this video, but you can look it up. I'll post a link to the video. Tech giants, certain tech giants who are basically, they're being accused of organ trafficking, human trafficking, child sexual abuse, like all of this stuff. Go and look at the I can't remember the exact list of charges, but you know, I'll post a link to the video. You got to get up to speed on this stuff, because we need a critical mass of people who know the truth, who are going to collectively shift this. Because if it's just a small percentage of conspiracy theorists who can be easily dismissed, then this stuff is going to be allowed to continue. Like all of this stuff, like all this racism, human trafficking, wars, indentured servitude, planetary destruction, like all of this stuff is just symptomatic of the same cause, which is the virus in the crown, us giving our sovereignty away to others to rule over us. That's what that does. You know, when we allow other people to control our currency system and create it in the way that they want, you know, the debt slavery system that we're all living under, fiat currency, that's what happens. We have climate disaster. Are we really going to allow these people to keep controlling us? No, I'm not. Like, if you want to make the shift into 5D, then you've also got to put that crown on. You've got to seek knowledge. You've got to be able to see clearly between truth and deception. And yeah, you do have to get angry, but depending on what level, what frequency you're vibrating at, if you've already surpassed the anger, then you don't have to. But anger is a transmutational emotion. It's a fire that basically burns any lower vibrational emotions into higher vibrational emotions. Okay, let me look it up 1 second. Let's see, what frequency does anger vibrate at? So anger vibrates between fear, grief, fear and desire. Anger actually vibrates at a higher frequency than desire, and y'all know how important desire is. It's a motivational emotion that helps you close the gap between one emotion or one state and another. So if anger transmutes fear, grief and fear, and shame is at the bottom, okay? So guilt, shame, apathy, grief and fear, anger will burn those up into courage, neutrality, willingness, acceptance, reason, love, joy, peace and enlightenment. There's probably other emotions somewhere on that list as well. This one doesn't look super comprehensive. But it basically motivates you into action, right action. Your emotions are a moral compass, and anger is one of those emotions that signal that a violation against universal laws has just been committed. So the anger is basically something that you feel in order to motivate you to correct the injustice and rebalance the universe, because the universe is self-correcting. It's always seeking balance. So get angry, and that will help shift you into higher vibrational states, and then you can come and join us in 5D. I mean, I still get angry sometimes, and that's totally fine. But it's not my baseline emotion. My baseline emotion generally is joy, peace, compassion, unconditional love a lot of the time, because I understand that a lot of these people who have, excuse me, I'm detoxing, I just did a 10-day Kriya Yoga immersion. If you get an opportunity to try Kriya Yoga, I recommend it. It's such a powerful technique for detoxing the body, and I'm going to be bringing some live streams to you very, very soon, so watch out for those. But yes, I'm digressing right now because I'm a little bit excited. Unconditional love, because when you look deeper and deeper into these practices and why the world is such a mess and how this has come to pass, like why we're in this situation, you realize that a lot of these people inherited this. You know, they were victims and then they became perpetrators. That's what happened. I told y'all in the video Integrating the Shadow, I'll put a link. Please remind me if I forget. I do sometimes forget. To look at Teal Swan's story, because Teal Swan talks about how she was, indoctrinated by a satanic cult from the age of about 6 years old because of her extrasensory gifts. And as she got older, they forced her to torture other children. So that's what happens. So the reason why this is coming to light at this time is because a lot of people who were involved in this fucked up shit want it to come to light. Go and look up, if you want to research this a little bit more, go and look up Donald Marshall. Now, I don't know if everything that this guy is saying is true, because it's pretty out there. Like, if you want to get an idea of what he's kind of talking about, watch the series on Netflix, Altered Carbon, because he talks about some of those ideas. He doesn't refer to them directly, but it's based on some of the same theories of kind of human consciousness and consciousness transfer, which they also talk about in the Emerald Tablets. And that apparently the elites have had the technology to do this for a long time, sort of cloning and consciousness transfer and things like that, but that they're basically doing a lot of weird, fucked up stuff in underground military bases. So yeah, look him up. He's basically saying that he's now coming out as a whistleblower to draw attention to this stuff. Hey. Hi, I'm just making a video.
Hello.
Do you want to say hello properly?
Hello.
Yeah, I was just talking about Donald Marshall. Donald Marshall, he's basically saying that he's coming out to blow the whistle on this stuff, and that a lot of people who are involved in this are just like, okay, please do it, because we don't want to be doing this stuff anymore, but we have to because of whoever that controls it. I'm not going to spill the beans for you, do your own research. They want it to come out, but they're saying just do it slowly, drip feed it, and don't mention me, please. So yeah, his story is interesting. But yeah, it comes with a strong content warning. If you're easily disturbed by this stuff, then just, go slowly, take a lot of breaks, because it can be very upsetting. And it can, traumatize you a little bit. But yeah, that's all I'm going to talk about today. I'm going to do another video talking about other stuff, which I'm going to upload in a separate video. But yeah, if you have any questions, then feel free to DM me. Let's talk about it. Yeah, I'm just going to leave it there. So thanks for watching, guys, and I will see you in the next video. Peace out.
You're introduced to LSD, and unless you've taken some other drug, like for instance, like marijuana or something, it's an altogether new thing, and you actually can have a religious experience, and